Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dark sorcerer here. And tonight I want to talk to you about wardings. I want to talk to you about seals. Today, while I was at work, I was following a conversation in a chat with some fellow admin of a group that I'm an admin in. There's been a lot of attacks publicly. There's been a lot of things said on both sides, and most importantly, there's a lot of distrust between the group I'm associated with and this other group. Now, I know one of our brothers has been trying to make peace. He's been trying to put up a strong foundation to where people can coexist. But what happens when that foundation crumbles? Most people don't take into consideration that there's just some people that just want to try to destroy you, that just because they can. They're not interested in friendship. They're not interested in friendly existence or coexistence for that matter. And you're going to have to make up your own mind on when enough is enough. But how do you go about dealing with these types? You could always try to build a case and see what the law will do with them. But we all know where the laws of the world are right now. Number one, they're dealing with the coronavirus. Number two, they're dealing with the war on terrorism. Okay, so a lot of times the the average Joe, the citizen, doesn't get the fair treatment that they deserve from the legal system. The legal system literally drops the ball. It doesn't matter if it's a matter of freedom of religion. It doesn't matter if your civil rights are being stomped on. It doesn't matter what it is. Even your, say for an example, if you live here in the U.S., you have your commandments. Okay, your commandment rights. Like the Fifth Amendment. The amendment rights and all that stuff that you try to uphold. Knowing what to do is one thing, but to actually have a system that will back it up, that's something that's very far and in between these days. Which is why so many individuals are seeking out dark sorcerers and magicians these days, trying to find that balance, that justice. A lot of the times you have showboaters and egotists that were more than happy to accept your money. But what about those individuals that actually know what they're talking about? What about those individuals that actually know what they're doing? These types always get overlooked because they've got less followers. They've got less popularity amongst the herd conformity. Okay? They'll believe a Christian over, say, for example, a pagan or devil worshiper. If they're occultists who have written books, like say 9 books or so, even 1 or 2 books, and they've been on, say, a talk show that deals with somebody much more famous. Guess what? It's more about popularity. It's more about numbers than the actual arts and practices of educating you on how to do it yourself. Okay, I know a few videos have been put out, especially here on YouTube and on Facebook and other social media outlets, but they don't really get into actual details about defensive and offensive magic. Okay, So, hey, Julia O'Neill, how you doing tonight? So, I thought I'd take a moment and kind of just break some stuff down for you to look into literally delve into. Okay. Number one, you got your deities. Okay. You got the angels and the demons of vengeance. Okay. Alistar, the executioner, Abaddon, the destroyer, Samael, the 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 poison or venom. Okay. Ariok, the lion, Sebnuk, the destroyer. Okay. You got so many different types of beings out there, of this stature. You've got Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft, ghosts, underworld, justice, and necromancy. Okay. You got Osiris, that is the weigher of iniquity. Basically, he weighs your own guilt against you. Okay. These are all well and doubt. You know what I'm saying? You can easily call on these beings and petition them to deal with you or to deal with your enemies. But you're not in control at that point. What happens to them is up to these deities, these beings, and how you unleash them on your enemy, your foe. But what if I told you that there are other ways? What if I told you that seals can be employed? You have seals of cloaking that will protect you, guide your movements under the cloak of invisibility. You have protection seals that will literally protect you, especially if you deploy them correctly. More so, you also have the seals of reversal. Okay? The seal of reversal literally reverses any spell, any attack that is against you. You have the seal of abjuration that literally cancels out any negative influence in your life. And then you have what is known as devil traps that can be put in place. These are easily put into place as trump cards, unforeseen traps. You've seen the hunter spiders. I forget their name, their actual name. They're trap spiders basically, and they dig a trench and they have a cover. And when an uninspected foe is going by, they pop out and grab it and drag it into their den. Think of these traps in such the same manner. Okay? When you deploy this correctly, these things, number one, your enemy is not going to see you or your movements. Number two, any type of discussion or attack that is upon you personally, or even your group for that matter, is going to go unseen. The reversals will deploy defensive magic automatically, especially when you've charged them, activated them, and put them in place. Will reverse it right back on your enemy. Now, personally, you could even do something a little more devious and put a curse, a hidden curse, perhaps a hex of some kind, something, depending on what kind of mood that you're in and who you're dealing with. For an example, let's say, for an example, you're dealing with somebody who's not going to learn their lesson. It doesn't matter how many times you defeat them with their own words. Okay? You can sit there and, you can take snapshots of what they've said compared to what they're telling everybody else, and you show it to them. Okay? Number one, they're going to look at this guy and go, you're a fucking idiot. Okay? But let's look at it this way. Your own words defeat you. Okay? So by putting a curse in place that's also in the guise of a trap, a devil's trap, if you wish, you can easily spring this upon your enemy, especially when they attack you. Since I've been in the Mazajira Cabal system over the last year and a half, I've been going through all these seals and I've been going through all these different traps and curses and personalized sigils of beings. And the one thing I can say for absolute certainty is the fact that I've never seen anything like this that's been this specifically targeted. Now, I lost somebody that was a follower of mine a while back because of this. At the beginning of the year, because I chose to follow this path as a dedicated adept. That was his choice to leave, but of course, and I'm not going to get into that. My point is, he's been attacking me ever since, off and on his channels. I've been aware of it. I don't really care what he says or does, but now he's involved with other people and attacking other groups. Okay. And what's interesting to note is that I've suggested these employments, these dispersions of glyphs and seals, things that are meant to protect you as an individual or you as a member of a group. Okay. As a group collective, so to speak. Like any practitioner who knows what they're doing, if they apply things like this, much like, say, for an example, let's go with quartz crystals. When you charge them for protection, you put them at the four corners, right? Well, what if I said that you could do the same thing with seals, glyphs even? These things are very potent magics, especially when you add blood sorcery, especially when you have spirits bless and consecrate them. When you fully charge them and activate them, they are a powerful, powerful tool at the hands of the experienced adept. Even the inexperienced can learn how to wield these simple tools. It's like setting up an altar, utilizing a wand or an athame. The only difference is you're wielding a seal of cloak, seal of cloaking, a seal of reversal, a seal of protection, seal of adjuration, or the seal of anguish, for an example. Okay? Placing them in the right sequence, the right angles, or the right locations throughout your home, your apartment, or even your own property, if you own your own property. You would be surprised just how potent these things are. I have a brother who used to work with Ariok, the lion. He's a vengeance demon. When he started putting these things up, he said it was like a car and a shotgun going off. It was so loud when this being took off, like somebody lit a firecracker underneath his ass. But he was surprised nobody else heard this. Well, guess what? This is a spiritual motivator. When you go and you use your personal patrons along with this, it creates a much, much more potent protection magic. A lot better offensive and defensive magics. These seals you can employ and learn how to employ. You can learn black magic. You can go into hoodooism and learn both white magics and black magic, curses, baneful magic even. You can go into voodoo, do the same exact thing. Learn the powders. Okay? Go into occultism. You're going to see the same thing. Satanism, you have satanic curses. Okay? You have satanic magic that can be deployed in this mannerism. Necromancy has its own unique style of protection seals and sigils. Now, personally, since I've been studying necromancy full time over the last year and a half, I've realized this and I've learned it. Hell, I've actually utilized them. I'm not going to say which ones because that's for me and my patrons to know. But the funny thing is that since I put these up, every form of opposition in my life has just faded away. Not joking, just faded away. Like they've been put into oblivion. We had a lot of things going on, a lot of spiteful things just disappeared. It was like they just met an untimely demise. Don't get me wrong, they're still alive, but it's like they really don't want anything to do with us. You know, we barely even have company over from, when we do, it's once in a blue moon because people don't dare to come into this home. A lot of it is because of me as a black magician, a sorcerer. They have these ideals about it and they don't want anything to do with it. But those who know what I'm capable of doing and know what black magic is capable of doing, they stay away. Every so often, I have somebody that comes in, either a friend of my son's mother or a friend of mine, sometimes a friend of both of us. They come over and they can't deny the influence of magic in this place, the peacefulness. They come in and it's like they've never come up against anything like it. And that's because of these seals, the talismans, the amulets that are up. You have so much that you can do, so much that you can learn to employ if you take the time to master them, to learn about them. It's sad that so many don't want to learn about them, which is why we have so much opposition, so many divisions in social media. And it's sad because everybody wants to be a part of something, but nobody wants to evolve. Nobody wants to gain the insight of apotheosis and ascend. Seals are very, very powerful. You look at the talismans utilized by the 7 crown princes of the air from the 6 and 7 books of Moses. Prime example there. You look at the planetary glyphs, the seals, like that of Saturn, which is associated with Azazel, Satan, even, the dark planet. You look at the lunar cycles and how they play into effect. The hour of the night, say for an example, meridian, or that of the witch's hour, the devil's hours. The best time to deploy magic, the sorcery of these seals, these talismans, how to commune with these spirits that are behind them. But it comes down to the system of magic that you as an individual practices. It comes down to you and what you're willing to do as an individual. There's an old proverb: you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink. A man who does not learn from history is doomed to repeat it. I can show you the door, but I'm not going to open it for you to walk through. Only you can do that. As the old proverb goes, give a man a fish, feeds him for a day. Teach a man how to fish, feeds him for life. For those of you who really want to learn, guess what? Now's your opportunity. But no one's going to twist your arm. No one's going to do the work for you. You got to step up to the proverbial plate and do it yourself. You can pay somebody to do ritual work. People have been doing that for hundreds of thousands of years. Defensive and offensive magics. White magic, black magic. It's been done all over the world, even in the old days. Go into the hexa. The hexa, Swedish, means witchcraft. The witch. The edgy in African. The strega in Italian. Or if you want to go more modern, wizard in Welsh. Modern day English. England. Sorcerer. Sorceress. Necromancer. Nigromancer. Mage or sage. The title is what you earn, what the spirits bestow upon you, and what your teachers, your mentors feel that you're ready for, especially if you're in a system that has a hierarchy. There are always tests, trials, things that you're going to have to learn to deploy. But use the rule of three. If you can make it work 3 times, it's successful. That's a little FYI hint. But like I said, it's up to you. Look into seals. Look into talismans. Look into amulets. Look into crystals, stones, gems, and how they're associated with magic, witchcraft, sorcery, and spiritualism. And see where your studies take you. Thank you, Julia, for participating and making an appearance. It's an honor having you here. And for those of you who will come after this video ends, hope you'll take notes and learn. But like I said, no one's going to twist your arm. You're welcome, Julia. Have a good night.